They say we are creatures of habit. But what they don't say, what no one really tells you, is that our habits are creatures of our environment. You think you're in control. You think your decisions are purely yours. But quietly, silently, invisibly, the world around you is shaping you in ways you don't even notice. Right now, without even thinking about it, your environment is nudging your behavior. It's deciding whether you'll reach for a book or your phone, whether you'll snack on fruit or junk, whether you'll move forward or stay stuck. And the truth is, it's not about willpower. It's not about discipline. It's not about how badly you want to change. It's about what surrounds you when your motivation fades. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything for a man named Daniel. Daniel was like most of us, ambitious, smart, determined. He had big goals: lose weight, write a book, finally wake up early and stop hitting snooze. But every week felt the same. Monday motivation, Wednesday exhaustion, Friday guilt. He blamed himself, thought maybe he was lazy, weak, undisciplined. Until one afternoon, during a walk with a mentor, everything shifted. "You don't have a motivation problem," his mentor said. "You have an environment problem." At first, he didn't get it, but then they walked into his apartment. TV front and center, couch perfectly positioned, pantry full of chips, phone charger next to his pillow. No notebooks in sight, no space to think, no cues for the life he wanted, only the one he was stuck in. And that was the wake-up call. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. That line hit him like a punch to the chest. Because in that moment, Daniel realized his environment was designed perfectly for the life he didn't want. And so is yours. That cluttered desk, that fridge full of processed food, that constant background noise, that phone buzzing every 5 minutes. They're not neutral. They're shaping you, guiding you, training your brain to repeat the same patterns over and over. The problem isn't you. It's the system around you. And systems, good or bad, always win. So Daniel made a decision. Not to try harder, not to wait for inspiration, but to change the stage where his life was playing out. He started with something small. He moved his phone charger to the kitchen. Suddenly, he stopped doom scrolling in bed. He put a journal on his pillow. Now, every night, he wrote before sleep. He bought a fruit bowl and left it on the counter. He started snacking differently, without even trying. And he rearranged his living room so the couch no longer pointed at the TV, but at a bookshelf. Weeks went by, then months, and something strange happened. It didn't feel like effort anymore. The habits that once felt like battles became automatic. And that's the invisible power of environment. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't command, it suggests. But those suggestions, over time, become your life. You see, we are not just products of our decisions. We are products of our surroundings. And if you want to change your life, you have to change what surrounds your life. Not just physically, but digitally, socially, mentally. Let's talk about your digital environment. How many times have you opened your phone with a goal, maybe to reply to a message, check the weather, only to find yourself lost 20 minutes later deep into something you never intended to see? That's not an accident. That's design. Every app, every notification, every color and vibration, it's all engineered to hijack your attention, to steal your focus, to shape your habits without you even noticing. If you want clarity, you must reclaim your space. Unfollow what makes you anxious. Mute what distracts you. Create digital borders as seriously as physical ones.
And speaking of physical space, look around.
Is your home a sanctuary or a source of stress? Does it reflect the person you want to be or the person you were trying to escape? If your workout gear is hidden in a closet, but your PlayStation is always ready, guess what behavior wins? If your vision board is buried in a drawer, but your laptop is open to YouTube 24/7, what future are you rehearsing? We become what we rehearse.
And we rehearse what we repeat.
And we repeat what's within reach. Now, let's talk about the hardest part of environment: people. Your social circle is the most powerful, invisible force in your life. Show me your 5 closest relationships, and I'll show you who you're becoming. Not because you copy them consciously, but because identity is contagious. If your environment is filled with people who settle, you will settle. If it's filled with people who complain, you will complain. But if you're surrounded by people who strive, who rise, who challenge themselves every day, you will be pulled upward even when you don't feel strong. Because energy is infectious, and we mirror what surrounds us. So take inventory. Who drains you? Who inspires you? Who reminds you of who you used to be? And who reminds you of who you're becoming? Sometimes growth means loving people from a distance. Not with bitterness, but with boundaries. Because your future deserves protection. And that means building an environment where your best self doesn't have to fight so hard to show up. Let me tell you a story about Maya. She wanted to write a novel. For years, she dreamed about it. But every time she sat down to write, nothing happened. Not because she lacked talent, but because her environment screamed distraction. TV in the background, texts popping in, noise outside, a chair that hurt her back, a desk piled with papers. It all seemed small, but it wasn't. Because when she finally cleared that space, set up a quiet corner, turned off notifications, bought a comfortable chair, and lit a candle she only used for writing, everything changed. The words flowed. The story grew. The habit stuck. Why? Because the environment signaled, this is who you are now. That's the power of cues, of space, of silence. It's not about having the perfect room, the perfect routine, the perfect tools. It's about intentionality. It's about shaping your surroundings to reflect your identity. And when your environment matches your intention, change becomes inevitable. You don't have to fight, you align. So here's the truth I want you to hold on to. You are not broken. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more discipline. You need an environment that supports the future you're building. One that whispers the right messages. One that clears your path instead of cluttering it. One that says, quietly, consistently, you belong to the life you want. So today, take a look around. Don't overhaul everything. Just one space, one drawer, one routine, one app. Remove what pulls you down. Add what lifts you up. Because when you change your environment, you change the flow. And when the flow changes, everything gets easier. That's not magic. That's design. And you are the designer. Build a life where your habits don't feel like battles. Build a life where your surroundings tell the same story your heart is trying to write. The world may be loud, but the environment you create can be your quiet revolution. It starts now. One shift, one corner, one cue. Because the power was never in your willpower alone. It was in the stage you were standing on. Make that stage yours. If this message spoke to you, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to the channel for more. Because sometimes all we need is a new environment to become a new version of ourselves.